Welcome. It's time to pause for peace with me, Pastor Jule. This podcast is being released on June 16th, 2024, and around the world on June 16th, 2024, people are celebrating Father's Day. It can be an incredibly complicated day for a whole lot of reasons. Some of us have never known our biological fathers. Some of us don't know who to direct our thanks to when we think about the gift of life that we have. We maybe have never met that man. Some of us have loss around our fathers. We miss our dads greatly, whether they were amazing men or we were in struggle and challenges with them at different points of our lives, yet we miss our fathers greatly on this day because they've passed from this world to the next. Some of us have that ache within because of the wounds that came and the fear within from the wounds that came at the hand of our fathers, who may have been not only neglectful, but also abusive. There's a way that we have not properly understood the gift of fathering. And there's a way the cycle of really toxic masculinity and toxic fathering can be passed on through the generations. As I aged and as my father opened up more about his own journey, I began to have insight into some of the things that he struggled with in being a dad because of his own experience of fatherhood. I always loved and admired my grandfather, who was not my dad, but I always loved and admired him. And I still do to this day. And I know some of the ways that his patterns were very damaging to my father. And then in turn, some of those patterns can continue to be damaging to me and to my siblings. And so when we approach a holiday like Father's Day or Mother's Day, this can be just a time of a lot of different emotions for all sorts of people. If you're somebody who has a dad that has, from the start, claimed you as his own and been celebrating you and encouraging you and providing for you all that you have needed to flourish and grow in this world, setting an example for you of like making your mark in this world, of knowing who you are, keeping your boundaries clear around that, and going out into the world to be that person, then let's give great thanks for your father and give great thanks for all of the men who have fulfilled that role. And let us not forget the fathers who have tried so hard and yet have been kind of hamstrung by their own experiences. Let us not forget the fathers who are doing the best they can today with what they've been given, the complicated situations of cyclical poverty, of rampant racism, of continued domination of one way over the other. This all impacts fathers who seek to bring children in this world and who want to make a good path forward for their kids. So as you approach this Father's Day, be gentle with yourself, be tender with yourself, and whatever your experience of fathering has been. One thing that doesn't get spoken of enough in our culture, I think, is what really even is the role of a father. Like, we know that there has to be somebody who contributes for life to come. There has to be two holy opposites that come together for a new human being to be created, to be born. But what else do dads need to do? So sometimes I can turn to ancient scripture and I can see the very best of the fathering energy at work. And sometimes we can look at ancient scripture and we can see some of our projections and some of our own wounds that get kind of put upon the energy of the divine, of the sacred masculine, and really don't serve us all that well. When we sort of sort through ancient scripture and when we kind of unpack what the purpose of fathering is, there's a few key words that come to my mind. First of all, a father is a progenitor in a lot of ways, somebody whose offspring in the line is passed. In the ancient patriarchs of the Hebrew scriptures, we hear about those who claimed and blessed their children. It was the father's job to pass on the blessing to the child, which in many ways is the father seeing in the child, recognizing in the child, you are mine. I claim you as a part of my household, and I wish for you a life of flourishing. This is part of the role of the father. I think about images of the divine that are used in scripture, ancient word, that tell us about a shepherd, a great, great shepherd. And we break down that metaphor of shepherding, and we see that shepherds are courageous, and they are protecting, and they are wise. They are deeply caring. They guide, and they lead, and they care entirely for their sheep. This is the way of the father who guides and protects and deeply cares for his own. I think about the ways that Jesus was in circles of brothers. And I think about the joy and zest for life that he had and that he would share in a circle of men. I think about the way that Jesus was never afraid to attach himself to one more, and keep expanding this circle and this movement of conscious love that he was about. And so the ways that the Father is clear about who he himself is, and the way that the Father then will live out his life in the world. Jesus was very clear about who he believed himself to be, and the way that love was to be embodied and moving through him to be manifest in this physical realm. These are great gifts that show us this sacred masculine, this sacred father that is about this clarity and is about discernment and is about boundary setting. It is about this energy of being able to be standing firm in who I am, no matter the consequences that come. We definitely see this in the life and the death of Jesus, the Christ. So on this Father's Day, not only are we going to celebrate men and those who have taken on this task of fathering and who really live the role of fathering in such a beautiful and blessed way. We also want to pray for men who might be struggling with their role as a father. And I want us also to be looking at how we need to embody the energies and qualities of fabulous fatherhood in ourselves. This is one way that we grow up into being who we really were made to be. So I'm going to guide us a little bit through a similar practice that I encouraged us to undertake for Mothering Sunday, when we were reminded that mother energy in ourself is this process of nurturing, caring for ourselves, and celebrating ourselves, uniting and receiving all that we need in ourselves. Father energy is about being clear about who we are Father energy, internal father energy, is about blessing who we are, even if nobody externally wants to bless who we claim ourselves to be. Father energy is clear, claims who I am, and then also blesses myself for that, and has that sense of hope and forward movement into the world. So I will be who I am to be in this world each day. Father energy protects that path. Father energy sets those boundaries. Father energy that is wise knows when to act and when to rest, when to be dynamic and forward going, and when to pull back and to simply wait. This is all a part of this healthy, sacred feminine, sacred masculine energy that is to come together within each one of us. So I'm going to invite you to get yourself comfortable for a little bit. And if you're needing to pause this podcast for just a second and to collect yourself or give yourself space and time around your own memories and your own experiences and sensations arising as you think about Father's Day and as you reflect upon your father and your relationship with your father, then go ahead and do that. But if you're ready to move on into a practice, I'm going to invite you to get yourself comfortable right now. This is a practice to be taking stock of how the father energy is doing in yourself, regardless of the the fathering that has taken place around us. This is about how I am doing with fathering myself. I'll guide us through. If you will, take a deep breath from your belly. Hold it for just a moment before you release it. Take another deep breath. Receive from the outward what you need inwardly. So another deep breath. Hold it for a moment and release. The release itself is that reminder of the work of the father energy, releasing who I am out into the world, giving of who I am out into the world because of what I have received and how I have received, now I give out into the world. So one more deep breath. Hold it and release. Let's drop into a point of stillness within us. If you're able to do that in your heart space, or if you feel a need to go kind of even deeper within through the heart space, deep down into the belly, and ground yourself there, or even deeper down beyond your knees, beyond your ankles, into your feet, and ground yourself there. Father energy is able to stand, blessing who we ourselves have been, claiming, this is who I am, I can be no other. This is who I am, I can be no other. So wherever you need to have your inner focal point today, to be grounded clearly in who you are, where you are to stand in this world, I invite you to find that place in the stillness inwardly. And if you can see yourself, like you might even be imagining yourself, picking yourself out of a lineup of all of your siblings, for instance. Imagine yourself picking yourself out of a lineup of all of your siblings. And if you don't have any biological siblings, then just imagine the siblings that are a part of this human community of Earth. And imagine yourself picking yourself out of a lineup. And imagine yourself saying to yourself, You. I want you. You are mine. I want you. You are mine. I claim you as my own. As you reflect on what that means, what you even notice internally when you hear that inner fathering energy saying, I claim you as my own. You, who you are, I claim you as my own. Deeply caring Father energy accepts it all. It doesn't try to cut off any part of who I am. Deeply caring Father energy accepts the whole and says, I bless you all. I bless every part of who you are. I vow protection to every part of who you are. Imagine your own inner father saying to yourself, not only I vow protection to who you are, I have a dream and a hope for all that you will be. I long for you to have a path that is clear before you, on which you stay centered, on which you walk each day securely in this world. Perhaps you can even visualize your inner father putting a hand on your shoulder, a wise, nurturing, protective hand on your shoulder to walk side by side with you. Not going too far out ahead of you and not holding you back from who you are to be, but walking with joy and with courage and with excitement right beside you. Continuing to claim, no matter who's met on the path, continuing to claim and to inwardly say, I choose you as my own. I am grateful for your life, and I am honored to be a part of it. And I am here to aid in keeping you on your path, however that path unfolds. With this wise, wonderful inner father energy stirred up and activated in a way that can be brought into your waking world, into your everyday. Kindly reflect upon what is needed in your daily life to keep you along this journey. What of that inner positive father energy can be incorporated more and more into your day? If you feel a need to break from the stillness to jot a note around this or to begin to write in your journal, you're welcome to do so. But let's keep before us this quiet, reflective question, allowing the positive inner Father to speak to you, saying, what can I do each day? How can this positive fathering energy guide each step? So we might want to begin with reflecting on, how am I doing? How am I consciously doing at claiming who I am in this world and being clear about the particularness of me and the particular gifts that I have, even if I don't know how to use them yet, but the particular qualities that make me who I am. How am I doing at claiming those and blessing those and dreaming a future for those? Think about the kindest, most gentle, wise soul, just tenderly walking with you and asking you, this inner Father, asking you, how are you doing in the world each day at being clear about your boundaries, where you start and where you stop? What is yours and what is not? What is your yes and what is your no? How are you doing every day at being clear about your boundaries? How are you doing at protecting your path? This wise inner Father asks, how are you doing at protecting your path? Because you have claimed who you are, you're clear on your gifts, even if you don't know how to use them yet in the world. You are blessing and honoring who you are, those gifts and abilities. You are dreaming and hoping for your future and all that can unfold. How are you doing at protecting that path? What shelter are you providing for who you are and how you are growing in this world? What shelter are you providing for yourself about who you are and how you are growing in this world? Even if that means setting internal boundaries from the inner voices, the inner critic that wants to rip us down and say, I don't want this part of you as a part of yourself, or I don't like this quality of you, so this inner critic gets out of control, or this inner doubter thinks you have no future, you have no hope. The wise, wonderful, loving inner Father energy is here to say, wait a minute, clear yourself from that. I have claimed you. You are amazing. You are mine. I have a future. I am blessing you with hope. How are you doing internally and externally at sheltering yourself from that which would keep you from your path. And as I think about the Father energy, one more thing I want us to reflect upon today is the energy of welcome. How am I doing at welcoming what comes each day? How am I not letting my inner energy be overly critical of what's unfolding, be controlling, being dominating of what might be coming, but how am I truly being welcoming? Like the Father that just runs to welcome whatever comes and says, come on, bring it all here. Let's just celebrate and laugh together. How are we doing at welcoming whatever comes, whatever emotion, whatever thought, whatever activities out in the world, whatever comes from outside of us, whatever comes from inside of us? How are we doing at welcoming? And then beginning to discern and decipher, what is it that is needed of me here? How are we doing at welcoming? Like the best, most wonderful welcoming Father would welcome. As we're reflecting upon it all, if you will, just one more time, make sure your feet are firm on this ground, this place right under your feet. You might just want to heel toe your feet into the earth and know that you have a place to stand firm, to be who you are called to be. And when you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to this present moment. You can open your eyes if you have had your eyes closed. And I realize that this concept of the inner Father might be really difficult to grasp. We might just be trying to figure out how to deal with this external Father that we have been given in this world. But how we are working with this energy of the Father, the healthy energy of the Father, and how it is here to serve us. These are the kinds of questions that we can reflect upon all throughout this week. And I pray that you will have a beautiful week. I pray that you'll not only celebrate the energy of fatherhood, that you'll find some way to thank the Father that biologically brought you into this world, and the Father that raised you, which might not be the biological Father, but whoever it is along the path that has shown you that claiming and that blessing and that protecting and sheltering and encouraging you on your path, whoever that person has been in your world. If you can find a way to look for that and to celebrate that and to thank that person or those people who have been a part of those fathering energies for you, it's part of the charge for this week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. And this is a week when the celebration of Juneteenth takes place, this way that we honor and remember the African American experience in this nation and the gratitude we all have for the grand diversity of this world, and the ways that we might need to be called to healing throughout the experiences, the ways that we have allowed toxic masculinity, negative fathering, the ways that has been a part of shaping a world that has sought to dominate and control others, to see people all as separate individuals, some good, some not good, and the ways that whole system has wreaked havoc around the globe. This is a week when this celebration comes as well of Juneteenth, and this is a week when some of us need to do some reckoning with who we are and how we live our lives each day. But however you spend this week, I hope you will do so in a way that keeps you calm and centered and peaceful, so that you can be furthering this revolution of love started by this radical one named Jesus, who understood that he was here embodying this path for all to come be a part of. I hope that you can do all you can to pause for peace all throughout the week. Blessings, and have a great week.